Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask a Creative. Today, we are having another Ask an Anthology chat, and this time it's with Daniela, the famous Dani G. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I have seen your contribution to the amazing Our Australian Heart Anthology, and it's stunning. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so thank you so much for your comments, by the way. So my main inspiration was that I've always been fascinated by flora and fauna. It's just something that I grew up with, being Italian background. I was lucky enough to be surrounded by just beautiful plants and gardening, even just having a heritage of farming as far back as you can even think of. Uh, so I've just been always fascinated by the process of plants, just the beauty of plants and nature around us. And I think we're just extremely lucky in Australia to have such beautiful types of plants and flora around us that we need to appreciate a little bit more, I find. So that's why for the anthology, I really wanted to focus on that, and just showcase the beautiful qualities of nature around us.
Have you got a copy of your entry there?
Yeah, I do. So this is the entry, the little things that I've done for the anthology. So these are some of the images that I've included in the anthology. So basically, I've included a range of different flora. So I've got things like the blue gum, the Geraldton wax, the gum nut, the Banksia seed pod, the scarlet Banksia as well, the waratah, paper daisy, and of course we've got the Australian finch as well in the corner here.
I love that. As soon as I opened it, like especially where I live, summer is where all the colors come out, and you have all of the beautiful berries and the flowers and the birds and the animals. So those colors for me are just so meaningful, especially where we live on the Bayside. Is that something that has inspired you, like as an illustrator as well? Are you inspired by the different colors of the seasons?
Yeah, definitely. So my particular art style is very influenced and heavy based on the boldness of color. I just love just those stark and bold colors that come within nature and everything around us. I mean, even the way I dress is quite floral or quite bold in a sense. So those sort of elements of art always have inspired me, definitely.
And did you always want to be an illustrator when you grew up? How did that happen?
Yeah, so art has always been something that has been surrounded by me. One of the earliest sort of memories that I have with drawing and illustration was watching Disney cartoons. So things like animations, the emotion, the style, everything behind that really grasped me as a child. And I don't know if you remember, but sometimes those, like Snow White and Pinocchio, there used to be a section at the start of the films where they would do a bit of a documentary about how they did the drawings and how they were inspired to come up with the characters. And for me, that was even more than what was actually happening in the movie. So I just remember being so fascinated by the illustrations. And I thought to myself, one day, when I'm older, I would love to follow that sort of path. So that would basically be my first memory I can think around drawing and illustration.
Oh, I love Disney as well. And I went to the exhibition that they had at the Queensland Museum of the 100 Years of Disney. And I went with my friend Jen Horn, who's an illustrator. And it was like, I was just like, with normal squirrel brain, just going, oh, look at this and look at this and look at this. And she was just standing there and she was just like, storytelling that happens, and then you have the words as well, but having that visual focus is something that sets it apart from anything else that's out there at the moment. What was the process for you? Be like, how did you go with finding out about it and then the process of actually submitting to it?
Yeah, so when it comes to my writing journey, I'm pretty brand new to it. So I've only sort of been, within this around a year or so. But the first thing the way I found out about it was through social media. So I think there was an Instagram post, and as soon as I saw it, there was something that just drew me to it. I think I just loved the element about it, just what it represents as well. And, obviously, Australia being something so close to our heart, I just fell in love with the brief as well. And for me, instantly, I knew I wanted to work with flora and fauna. I'm like, yep, that's what I'm going to be doing. And I just loved the flexibility with the brief as well, allowing us to showcase our creativity in different ways. Especially, I was sort of in a bit of a mode at the time where that imposter syndrome sort of comes in, and you think, you've got all these amazing artists and illustrators on social media, and you think, am I as good as them? Or, does my work, even is good enough to reach that potential as other artists and illustrators are? And once I submitted my work, Romy was just so supportive. And I think that's another thing that drew me into the competition, just her, passion and support for this anthology just really made me think, you know what, I can showcase my art out there. It is a little bit different compared to what other artists or illustrators do, and I think that was something that held me back at the beginning. And I actually submitted literally a few hours before closing time, because like I said, you start questioning yourself and you think, am I good enough to be included in such a beautiful project? And I guess that once I got selected, that was the clarification to think, you know what, people believe in my art, people believe in what I'm doing, and it's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different art style. And I think it sort of comes as well towards this comparison that we do as illustrators. And I think the thing that we need to remember is that diversity is beautiful, and the uniqueness of art is something to be celebrated. So, yeah, that.
And visually represent it on the page, and being different from everyone else is such a superpower, because that's what publishers are looking for, that's what the audience is looking for, and you need to embrace it. You can't that and where it's such a difficult industry to break into, because it's not a cookie cutter do these steps and you will be successful. The only thing you can do is kind of comes along, you got to jump at it. So I totally relate to everything that you just said, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of people watching who also are resonating with that, like, oh my gosh, that's me. Dani G just saw into my head and just spoke all of the stuff that I've been hiding from everybody. So to anyone who is watching, who is where you were a year ago,
definitely say just believe in yourself. I know it's cliche, but at the end of the day, it's that belief and that motivation just to keep trying and to keep going at it. Even if you just draw a little bit every day, even just in a journal, or be inspired by what's around you. I carry my phone with me everywhere and use it as a camera. So I've got almost more photos of my environment than my children, which I don't know is a good thing, but just anything that inspires me, even if it's just a crack in the pavement, for example, and I take a photo of it. I think about the composition, the colors, all these sort of things, and I take a photo of it and think, okay, well, how can I incorporate this with my art making? What can I do with this image? And why has it inspired me? So basically, some of the advice I can give is, be true to yourself, believe in your art style, and don't put yourself down when you see something out there and you think, I wish I could draw like this person. I mean, definitely use it as inspiration, but if that's not what your hand does, or your mind or your own inspirations do, seeing that we've all come from different experiences, then follow your own path with your art. If you feel more comfortable using watercolor, for example, then go down that route. If you feel comfortable doing digital, then go down that route. And just follow your experiences, try new things, experiment. There's nothing wrong with experimenting as well with art. It's very important to have that element with your process of art making. But definitely just keep going at it. Find a community. That's another thing I found. Social media has been fantastic in finding out information, seeing what other artists are doing, support what they're doing, like their posts, put a comment. Sometimes those little comments like, wow, this really resonated with me. This is amazing. I love this. Really does give us inspiration, and really does, help us and even keep us in a positive mindset with our illustrations. So we really appreciate, support, but it's great to have that support around us as well, which the anthology had been fantastic with that as well. All the artists mentioned in the book have been so inspirational, all fantastic. We've all been supporting each other in different ways, whether we comment or share things, finding out what each other, are doing in promoting the book. Find that community and support each other.
we are kindred spirits. I have the weirdest photos on my phone. You have no idea.
Yep, so I have my website, which is www.danig.com.au. Otherwise, there's also Instagram, which I post on a lot of the times as well. And that's dani.g.writer.
Awesome. Well, I will put links to those in the comments. So anybody who is watching, and if you would like to get in contact and find out a little bit more about Dani and her staff, that's what it's all about. And this anthology has brought together some amazing creative people. And I think it's such a testament to Romy and what she's doing. So make sure you get your copy of Our Australian Heart. And thank you so much for coming and talking to me today, Dani.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.
And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on another edition of Ask a Creative.